All right, good morning, guys. We have stuff to do. That's why you're watching this, because we need to zoom on through some notes on plate tectonics. I feel like you've learned about this in 7th grade, maybe. I don't know. But either way, the question today is, what are plates and how do they move? So in your notes, what are plates and how do they move? Tectonic plates are pieces of Earth's crust and uppermost mantle, together referred to as the lithosphere. So they're pieces of Earth's crust and uppermost mantle. And we call that the lithosphere. So go ahead and highlight that in your notes. Okay. The next section is tectonic plate boundaries. Where different tectonic plates touch, they have boundaries. All right, different boundaries form where the plates interact in different ways. So we're going to look at the different ways that they interact, and you get different stuff depending on, I'm sorry, I'm still waking up, I guess. There are 3 main ways that they move. So I am going to look at that. So you can see here, these 2 continents, these 2 plates are spreading apart. Remember, we talked about the mid-Atlantic ridge, where there's new crust coming up, pushing these plates away. And then in the Pacific Ocean, there's subduction. So there's plates that are submerged underneath each other. So in a way, you've already looked at and have seen some of these boundaries. We're just going to put some names to them. Okay, so what are the 3 different ways that plates can move? The first one is called divergent, as in they're moving away. So 2 plates move away. Let's highlight that. The way that I remember this is kind of sad, but divergent and divorce, they have the same beginning, and obviously divorce means that 2 people are splitting up. So not happy, but that's how I remember it. So divergent, they're moving away. If you have a better example, let me know. A happier one. So we're going to put the arrows, one right here where it's moving away, and one right here where it's moving away. So let's save and close. All right. So how does this boundary form? So rising convection currents in the asthenosphere break the lithosphere apart, forming rift zones. So rising mantle, right? Rising convection currents rise in the asthenosphere, asthenosphere, which is the squishy part of the mantle. Break the lithosphere. Oh, I do not like that. I put that in the wrong spot. Where would there be rising here? We'll have to go back. Forming rift zone. Apart, forming rift zones. All right, so let's go back to this picture. I messed up because I wasn't thinking, because as my voice is telling you, it's the morning. So we put it right there. You'll notice up here is where the mantle would be rising, and it pushes these 2 apart, and that's going to get you a rift zone. This in the middle here is called the mid-Atlantic ridge. So let's save. Perfect. All right, that's much better. All right, convergent is when 2 plates are moving towards each other. So they're moving towards. Convergent, coming together. That's the way I remember it. They both start with a C. Convergent, coming together. All right, and there's 2 things you can get depending on the crust that you have. You can have subduction or collision. All right, so let me look here. Subduction, so this is the first one. You can see from the little GIF here, you have this oceanic plate, which we already talked about being more dense. It's going to sink back into the mantle. It'll start to melt, and it will make a line of volcanoes where subduction is happening. So that's one of the kind of cool features about it. So here is subduction. Actually want to switch these because they're in this order. And what you're going to get, so let's look at collision first. Collision occurs when both plates are made of continental crusts. All right, they're the same density and whatnot. So what you're going to get is a mountain. Look at that mountain we just built. Boom. Oh, come here. Come here, buddy. Come here. There we go. They're coming together, and it's going to make a mountain right there. So collision occurs when both plates are made of continental crust. Collision occurs when both plates are made of continental crust. All right, and so we get things like they're similar densities. So one is not going to go underneath the other. They have very thick rock, because it's continental crust, remember? And then you get folded mountains. Folded mountains are a result. We see this it's showing you India running into Asia. This is where we have the Himalayan mountains forming, because it's just two chunks of continental crust smashing together, coming together, converging, coming together. All right. The other thing we can get, I already showed you, is subduction. All right. So if we look at our image here, you have two plates coming together. One is going underneath, sliding underneath, and subducting and melting and making a volcano. All right, so subduction occurs when one of the plates is made of oceanic crust. Subduction occurs when one plate is made of oceanic crust. All right, and there's a couple things we'll get. Oceanic crust is denser, so it sinks into the mantle, and then you also have as the sinking plate melts, volcanoes form. So as the sinking plate melts, volcanoes will form. Yeah. All right. And then the last type of boundary is pretty basic, pretty chill. It's transform. You're not going to have any mountains building. You're not going to have any new crust forming. You don't really have a lot going on except for, as this is showing, earthquakes, okay? So two plates slide past each other in opposite directions. So they're sliding past each other. So what you have here, and I don't like this image that much, so I'm gonna this is pushing back. This is pushing forward. You can't really tell. I don't like this image, but so they're sliding. There's no up or down. It's just sliding past each other. Okay, so save and close. So what do we got here? This boundary causes earthquake close to the surface. This causes earthquakes close to the surface. And there's no other associated landform. No other landforms form. So no mountains, no volcanoes, no rifting. There's none of that. It's just earthquakes. Okay? And that's the end of our notes. All right. See you guys soon.